Today is a super exciting day for me for a couple reasons. First of all, I'm happy that I'm making this video. I actually had COVID for a couple of weeks and I'm feeling better, thanks God. And I just wish that if you guys are going through it or someone at your family, please take care of yourself, take care of your family, and I hope you guys recover quickly. So today I'm actually talking about something super special, which is my clip-on conversion on my GSX-S1000. I've been having the clip-on conversion. I think I did it about maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, and I couldn't be happier with it. I know that raised a lot of eyebrows because I mean my bike is an upright bike, and I'll get to that in a second. But essentially, I'm super excited to announce that Woodcraft Technologies actually came in as a supporter of my career as a motorcycle enthusiast, and they're going to be supporting me for the next racing season, which means that I like to be more active, you know, going to the drag race and actually participating in some other events. And they are actually coming along the way just to, you know, help us with like parts and help us with, you know, whatever we can do in order to grow this community, which I love a lot. Not only helping me, but I can also help them to promote their stuff, which I love, and I'm going to show you that clip-on conversion which I did with some of their products. So let's get started. All right, so before we start, this is a view of the cockpit of my motorcycle and what I have right now. Let's start with the basics. Why did I did it, and then how it looked before. So if you remember, you have this clamp here. This clamp is the actual one that holds the handlebar in place. So the handlebar will actually go through here, and then you have, you know, your reach, and this is the area where all the controls are actually gonna go on both sides. So it's gonna be like this side and this side. This is what they consider a fat bar. Fat bar means this is 1 inch in the middle. So the clamp sizing here is 1 inch, but then it's actually tapered, because when you get to the area where the controls are gonna go, then this is going to be 7/8. Right now, this is my setup, and my setup includes the Woodcraft, clip-on or clamp. This is actually the one holding to the fork leg, and then you have the actual riser, and then you have the bar. So this is very important because the setup that I have is actually adjustable, and actually it's called side mount riser. So you will see probably some clip-ons that are actually, instead of being attached to the side, are going to be attached to the front. When I called Woodcraft initially, they told me that this was probably going to be the best bet for me, because if I were to put clip-ons with the attachment or this riser attached to the front, there's potentially area for, you know, some interference with fairings, specifically on the GSX-S1000 F bike, which is faired, and there's going to be some interference. So based on that, although this is not the fair bike, we established that it was going to be very safe for me to run the actual risers on the side, which you can tell, you know, it's been working great. So very important. When we're talking about the clamp, even though these actual fork legs for the GSX-S1000 are 43 millimeters, the outside diameter of this fork leg, if you were to purchase this one, is going to be 50 millimeters. So if you're going to buy this, you're just gonna buy the 50 millimeter one clamp side, and that way you know this is the exact size that you need for this bike. The riser is super important because this is what's going to determine how much lean forward, how much leaning you have to do when you're riding your bike. And in my case, I have a 50 millimeter clamp on side clip-on, which is adjustable, but in this case, I have a 1 inch riser. The risers actually come in a 1/2 inch increments, starting in 1 inch. So after 1 inch, you can get 1.5, 2.5, all the way up to 3. If I'm not mistaken, that's probably the tallest you can get. So if you're looking to get more adjustability that a bar is not going to give you, because it doesn't have a way to move it instead of just a little bit like forward and backwards. So this will give you a lot of adjustability by being able to like rotate the whole clamp assembly like to you or forward, and then doing the same, and that will give you a lot of like, you know, relief in your chest, or you know, whenever you feel like what is your best, you know, position to be on your bike and feel comfortable. And this part right here, they normally come in clamp sizes of like either 7/8 or 1 inch. This is 7/8 standard for any bike, so which is similar to the bar I showed you before. Super important note is the fact that since I'm keeping everything 7/8, My controls are gonna fit the bar. The actual control on the throttle is gonna fit the bar as well. And then same for my brake reservoir, will be the same. And of course, this riser is designed to work with a clip-on at 7/8 as well. A super interesting feature you're gonna see as part of the clip-on is the fact that you're gonna see these like lines right here. These lines, where I'll show you in a second, it's actually a way that you can change this position on the bar even further. So not only you can tweak this, and as long as you're not hitting this, the tank, or hitting any other areas on your bike, you can have stuff like adjustability. But this one will give you the ability, very similar to the bars, to do this movement right here, and you can loosen these 2 bolts, and you can adjust how much you want to make it forward or backwards. And this is going to have an impact on the way the bar is going to be, I guess, perpendicular with your bike. So if you start moving, rotating, it's actually going to raise it, or it's going to lower it, and it's going to put it in a position where it's just going to give you 7 degrees of adjustability forward and backward, where you're going to be able to find or fine tune that final adjustability once you have the bars in the original place, or the place where you want them. Another very important detail when choosing the riser is the fact that when you're looking at the bike, and if you're thinking about, you know, putting a riser on your bike and determining what size of riser you need for your bike to be comfortable, it's very important that you make a comparison versus what you had before, which is your bar. And why am I saying that? My bike, it's almost lower 3 inches. So if you look very closely, you will see that my top of the triple tree, like on the top mounting here where the handlebar is, or used to be. So if you notice here, normally this top of your fork should be here, which means that my forks are raised, which means that my bike is lowered. Because of that, in my personal case, I had the ability to actually move this clamp up and down, which is why I brought it all the way to the top, and I used a side, and I used a 1-inch riser as opposed to using a larger one. This means that if you are not into lowering your bike, you can still run clip-ons, but you just have to determine if you need a longer riser, because there's a chance that you might need to put this clamp underneath this portion right here, and then you need the riser to come up to kind of compensate for how low the clamp is going to be. But remember, this is going to be in your bike, is going to be normal. So this right here is going to be flush, which means this is going to be all the way to the top. So you have the ability to put this under this, and then you need a side adjustable riser similar to this one, but it's just like longer, in order to compensate for the fact that the clamp is going to be under. Hopefully that makes sense. And it's only a 1 inch on my case, because I lowered my bike about 3 inches. So I had the possibility to actually put the clamps on top of the triple tree, instead of just, you know, putting the clamp underneath it if you are running, you know, stock hybrid in your bike. But if you're thinking about lowering, and then you lower your bike about maybe 2 inches or not, then you can definitely do kind of a similar scenario like I have in here, and then just put the actual clamp on top of the triple tree. All right, so there you have it. I think it's a great option. That's like 2 years of use on those clip-ons, so you can see they wear out pretty great. I have not touched them since the first time I actually adjusted them. I check them once in a while before I go to racing, that type of thing, just to make sure that they're okay. But I haven't not had to make any adjustments in the whole time that I had them. What is cool about it, you can actually get a bunch of spare parts. Let's say that hopefully not, you get into a crash and your bike goes down and your clip-on breaks. You can actually get the riser, or you can get the bar, or you can get the actual clamp. So you can get all the parts, you know, separately, and you can just replace them, as opposed to having a complete bent part. I will put a link in the description box of this video in case you are interested and kind of want to learn more about this. If you end up wanting to learn more and you go and want to get them and you are thinking about purchasing them, please let me know if you have any questions. Also, let them know that I sent you, so they know that actually, learn about, this product through this video, and that will be helping me a lot. So then what are the benefits that you get? So in my case, I want the style because it feels sportier. People will think, oh, if you want sportier, why don't you get a sports bike? Let me tell you, I've had 40 plus bikes, and among some of those bikes I had, CX-10s, CX-10s to 1000R. I found a bunch of different bikes, and that doesn't matter. I want to make this bike my own, so I'm making modifications that makes me feel good about my bike and feels comfortable, and I like it. So that's all you need to know. Thank you a lot for watching this video, and thank you again, Woodcraft, for coming along and supporting into my journey of owning bikes and racing bikes. So I really appreciate your support. Thank you for coming in as a sponsor. I really appreciate it. Guys, check out the website. Do me a favor, take a look at it. There's a bunch of stuff for you, especially if you're into racing. You can kind of search by the different bikes you have. You can get stuff from all the way from swing arm spools to actual stands to rear set and whatnot. So just check them out. Thank you again for watching this video. If you have questions or maybe something I did not address on this video, please just let me know, and I'll be happy to reply on the comments or just send me an email. Thank you a lot for watching again. Stay safe.